Why did I join the Coast Guard? So my senior year of high school was the year after 9/11 happened. And I actually started looking into the Navy. And that's when I went and took the ASVAB, talked to a Navy recruiter. I went through that and I was offered a $40,000 signing bonus. And for some reason, I just wasn't ready to make that commitment at the time. It seemed like a lot of money, which kind of made me a little uneasy because I was just thinking, why are they offering so much? That seems like a lot. So I held off on the decision for a while, and then after I graduated high school, my grandfather actually got really sick, and he was dying, and I decided to go help take care of him in that last year. So I ended up going to a community college in the area of where my grandparents lived, and that kind of put the whole Navy military thing on hold for a little while. And then that next year, I started looking into the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard was something that I had always kind of had in the back of my mind as well. My dad used to talk about the Coast Guard Academy. I'm colorblind, so it turns out I couldn't do that. But as I was looking into the Coast Guard, I found out that they do have a Coast Guard Reserve program. And I learned all about what that entails. And I thought, wow, this is really kind of cool, because I had already started my first year of college, and my family and life circumstances just didn't put me in a good place to commit my life to the Coast Guard on active duty. That would be, I would be sent to wherever in the country, and I just wasn't ready to make that commitment. The reserve was a nice option for that because they keep you close to home, and they paid for your college even in the reserve. Because I was in community college, it actually paid for my whole education. And when I transferred to a state school, and it basically covered my state school. Didn't cover rent, for my rooms, but it covered the tuition. So that was a big plus about it. So that was part of why I joined, was for the educational assistance. And, ever since 9/11 happened, I started following more what was going on globally. And the thing about the Coast Guard is that it's involved in defending us here, homeland security, and it's not really so much involved in going overseas and fighting. So I liked that kind of ability to feel like I was giving something to my community, something of value, and still being able to maintain my home life, still being able to finish school, and staying close to home. And it's really cool that it gives me something unique about myself and something to talk about. It's a good conversation starter. You don't meet a lot of Coast Guard reservists just walking around. Typically, there's not a whole lot of us. It's a small service. The Coast Guard active duty is the smallest service, and Coast Guard Reserve is about 8,000. I think it is. It's 37,000 active duty and about 8,000 or so in the reserves. So it's a unique club to be a part of, and I've really enjoyed it. It has its ups and downs. It can be stressful, especially when you're trying to manage your civilian life and all those responsibilities, and then all the same commitments that you have to have with the reserves. It's all the same requirements. I mean, obviously you're not putting in as many days per year, but all the requirements that you have to stay deployable on active duty, it's the same thing for reserve, because the whole mission of the reserves is to augment active duty and to mobilize if needed. So we have to be just as ready at all times. So it's a balancing act, and it's helped me a lot in a lot of ways to manage my stress and kind of prioritize tasks. And the responsibility that I've gained through it has been very helpful. Sometimes it's difficult with employers because they don't want to hire somebody who might get deployed, but most of the time they're appreciative and they understand that the benefit that they're getting from somebody with that kind of experience and knowledge and leadership experience more than makes up for the inconvenience of them getting deployed from time to time to help serve their country. So anyway, that's just a general outline of my reasons for joining. If you feel like it, share in the comments what your reasons what your reasons are for joining. I think that it's really important to meditate on that. I think that it really helps to get through the roughest parts of boot camp and even the rest of your Coast Guard career when you face difficult times. I think if you keep in mind and remember what your reasons were for joining, I think that helps to get through a lot. Anyway, hope everyone's doing well, and talk to you all again soon.